Hey everyone, many of you saw me tear Lord Jamar a new orifice on Godfrey's podcast a few weeks ago, which went moderately viral. Well, the fallout from that has been unexpectedly epic, leading to numerous developments, so let's get a closer look. As for broad impact, I was very pleased to be thanked profusely by the black community, who have had quite enough of figures like Lord Jamar and Billy Carson making them look bad. As a result of the spanking I gave him, I was invited on numerous podcasts to talk about how the black community can enfranchise themselves through scholarship rather than succumbing to Afrocentric pseudoscience and anti-intellectualism. Lots of people also did reaction videos to the debacle, which were quite hilarious. And finally, I went back on Godfrey's podcast for a general discussion on science and science denial, which I thought was quite redeeming for all parties. As for Lord Jamar, the aftermath has not been so rosy. Apart from getting mocked so relentlessly that he had to deactivate comments on multiple platforms, he decided to do a 3-hour-long public cope session with none other than, you're not going to believe this, David Weiss, in what essentially amounted to a support group for idiot flat earthers who I have very publicly made my bitch. These two whined and doubled down on all the dumb things they've said in their exchanges with me, in a display so tragically pathetic that I almost decided not to comment on it. But then I remembered that these toxic jerks should be mocked until they shut their dumb mouths and go away forever, so let's pick through the video for some highlights, shall we?
Okay, y'all saw the bullshit that happened on Godfrey's show with, the fake professor.
We're off to a pretty bad start here, Jamar. Yes, we all saw you spew insane bullshit for 20 minutes while I humiliated you, and whining about the name of my YouTube channel isn't going to help you. By the way, are you a real Lord Jamar? No? Then find a new angle, moron.
I'm going to tell you, I can't get too much into detail about this right now because I think there's some things going on. But all I could say is I apologize for the poor showing. To all my flat earth people out there, this changes nothing. Although I know I made myself look bad. From being out of sorts for many different reasons that I can't necessarily get into at this moment. But I definitely was not myself that night.
No, you were precisely yourself. You're a toxic, willfully ignorant, narcissistic, belligerent asshole. That's why this is happening to you, not because you were out of sorts. And the fact that I showed you how dumb your script is right to your face, and you insist that it changes nothing, only demonstrates that you will remain this clueless and pathetic to your grave.
And I thought certain people were my friend. And you don't want to believe that your friends would do certain things, but yeah, it's definitely possible.
Nobody did anything to you, champ. You did this to yourself. You chose to act like a reality-denying, infantile, homophobic maniac, because that's what you are. Don't blame the spotlight, and don't blame the people who gave you access to the stage. This is all happening because of your actions.
But yeah, I was just not in my right state of mind. I apologize for allowing y'all to see me lose my cool. Yeah, that's what happened. I lost my cool. I let this sucker bitch, pull me into some shit. There's a guy on the show that used to be an ex-pimp, and, since he couldn't best me the last time, he did what a pimp does, and he got a bitch to do his dirty work. And that's what happened.
The whole internet agrees that I made you my bitch in that interaction, Jamar. That's why you ran away like a little bitch when things weren't going your way. Stop projecting. It's pathetic.
What I would like to do, since everybody's watching right now, everybody's got their eye on me. I'm sure there's mad people that are here just to talk shit about me in the comments. Well, first of all, if you want your comment read, if you want me to even look at it, you're going to have to pay at least, I don't know, $20 for me to even acknowledge your shit. So don't think that I'm looking at the regular chat. I'm not. I'm only looking at the super chats. So Yeah, if you want to diss me, it's going to cost you.
That's right, buddy. If the whole world is making fun of you, you might as well make a few bucks off of it, huh? And indeed, even with only 36,000 views, there are 3,500 comments on this video, almost exclusively crapping all over him. So this will be fun.
I brought my experts with me. Okay. And we're going to give you a presentation on not why we think that the earth is flat, but why we know it is flat. I will answer certain questions that were brought up that night that, my mind was in a fucking fog. But yes, people, I admit, I shit the bed and it will never happen again.
It won't happen again because you'll never face off against anyone who isn't a complete idiot like you for the rest of your sad little life. So let's see, who are these experts? Some scientists? Literally anyone with a high school diploma?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sean Hibbler and Flat Earth Dave.
Thanks for
What's
having
up,
us.
man?
Oh, by experts, you meant idiot flat earthers who inhabit the same fantasy land as you. You all know Dave Weiss from me holding him under my shoe for an hour a few years back, and this jerk named Sean Hibbler made some crappy flat earth pseudo-documentaries, like Level, which just flashed 1,000 times debunked flat earth talking points over an action movie soundtrack. Let the stupidity begin.
I'll make a claim here on the series Level, the next level, and Level with me. It's scientifically impossible to watch all three and remain a glober.
I'll toast to that. Yes.
See, I feel like it's scientifically impossible to do any real study in this and remain a glober.
It's adorable, isn't it? Funny then how anyone who has studied any science whatsoever can so easily crap all over all the dumb things you morons say, huh?
And I know the art of war. I didn't study my opponent. Like, I didn't study the enemy. I didn't know this guy had 6 million, subscribers and all this type of nonsense. I didn't know he was a professional hit jobber type of guy.
Aw, Jamar didn't check and see that I've been humiliating people way smarter than him for years. That was a big mistake. I guess he won't leave his echo chamber ever again. Problem solved.
His best argument, if you Google Flat Earth, you end up seeing my debate with him. By the way, if you want to feel better about your performance, watch my performance with him, because I went in thinking that he was just a guy that wanted to learn the truth and just hasn't seen it. It was very, very naive on my part. But the only thing he got out of it is that he was talking about spectroscopy and how we know what the other stars are, and I was pointing out that gas needs a container, and so he's like, well, spectroscopy and stars. Water. Yeah, and I said you can't have because I can't say the word spectroscopy without a container, and they ran away. Dave thinks spectroscopy needs a container. Well, you do need a container if you want to have gas to analyze.
Now it's Weiss's turn to cry. Yes, spectroscopy needs a container was the single dumbest thing he said in our entire exchange. No, gas does not need a container. Earth's atmosphere doesn't have a container, nor do the gases surrounding celestial bodies that we examine by spectroscopy. He just still has no idea what spectroscopy is or how gases behave. My God, the level of concentrated cope in this video is so intense that I almost feel sorry for these morons.
I just want to say that I feel, though, that I must have been doing a good job if some professional globetard with 6 million followers comes after me on my channel, who I only have, 175,000. The fact that I even got on his radar must have meant that I was doing something.
No, Jamar, a bunch of people sent me a clip of you spewing your stupidity on Godfrey's podcast, so I did a reaction video on it. I had never heard of you prior to that, and the same goes for the rest of the internet. This spike in people talking about you because of how badly I humiliated you is the most famous you're going to be for the rest of your pointless life.
thinking, oh, this is some low-level dude that's just trying to get famous off me. I did not know the level he was at.
Yeah, but I watched the whole show with you two, and Professor Dave, even though he's an actor and he's lying, he didn't prove a fucking thing on the show. He's asking you to define words, this, that, and the other.
See,
I have not heard why water doesn't remain level at all times. I have not heard why it doesn't need a container. He said nothing.
No, I proved that Jamar is a complete idiot that doesn't know what words mean. You're proving that you don't know what words mean either every time you start whining about water being level. Learn what level means, dumbass.
He tried to bring me into water that obviously I wasn't comfortable in. I am not one who has a whole bunch of scientific terms under my belt.
Yes, I forced you to demonstrate that you have any clue what you're talking about, and you failed miserably. That's why everyone is making fun of you. Cry about it.
First of all, most people wouldn't know the scientific term of what they're saying a vacuum is, and we can get into what they're saying a vacuum is, because that's fucking ridiculous, as opposed to what a common sense vacuum is.
Yeah, a common sense vacuum, also known as you not knowing what a vacuum is instead of lifting a finger to learn anything. This is just the most pathetic thing imaginable. This idiot is so allergic to learning that he is pretending that the definitions of words he doesn't understand must be wrong just to shield himself from realizing that he doesn't know what those words mean. Everyone in the world is wrong. Physicists are wrong. Whoever invented the vacuum cleaner is wrong. Only Jamar is right because he says so. How does anyone become this way?
A common sense vacuum sucks, but this is where tricknology comes in, where they start using these words like theory. Anybody else feels like a theory is something that is an educated guess, but no, they'll say, no, a theory is actually something that's been proved. This is where the lies exist in the terms.
Yes, morons like you don't know what a theory is, so people correct you, and instead of learning something, you throw a tantrum on the internet. What's confusing here?
I bet you a lot of people in here wouldn't know that these scientists would tell you that heat and temperature are two different things. But every layman would believe that heat and temperature is the same thing, but they're going to tell you that it's two different things.
Heat is a transfer of kinetic energy. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in a system. Of course, they are related. Temperature changes require heat transfer. That doesn't mean heat is temperature. Heat is a process. Temperature is a measurement. If Jamar had the courage to listen to this video, his response to everything I just said would probably be, "That's some fake gay bullshit," and then try to change the subject. To which I would ask him what a thermometer is measuring, to which he would just stare blankly, light a blunt, and take a shit inside of his pants.
Please think about who's giving you these definitions. Who's giving you these definitions? The so-called there we go. The Rockefeller pseudoscientists. If you follow the money, you will follow where the education comes from.
Rockefeller. When I learned what heat and temperature are in middle school, the ghost of John D. Rockefeller was there whispering in my ear, feeding me all the lies. Rockefeller what, you morons? Who? Where? How? Which book is Rockefeller what? What does that mean? And how do you know? He wrote every textbook in human history in every country on earth, even the ones written before he was born, because you say so? Saying a random name doesn't make physics wrong, morons. And furthermore, if the definitions of heat and temperature that are taught to small children were somehow wrong, how would those children grow up to be people who build things that rely on those definitions and actually work? Can you dumb fucks build a refrigerator, or a car, or a rocket ship? How about a thermometer, or better yet, a calorimeter? Do you know what that is? No? Do you think acting like willfully ignorant douchebags is better than applying yourself and actually doing something? Because it isn't.
We're autodidactic. We're self-taught. We use common sense instead of nonsense, right? But if I wrote the book of bullshit and it was this thick and I gave it to you and Sean, you guys study it for a year, I test you and you both get 100, I'll give you a diploma. You've now got a degree in bullshit. And when you talk bullshit with your friends, they can't challenge you because you have a degree and they don't. That's what that's what the science community is. They're memorizers and regurgitators.
That is exactly what you do, morons. You make up a bunch of bullshit and teach each other how to repeat your own insane delusional bullshit. That's why you don't know how to do anything. People with an education don't have to regurgitate anything because they have the tools to actually do things, like build machines that demonstrate our understanding of basic thermodynamics. You should give it a shot.
That's it.
That's what I've always said, though, is that if you defend the globe model, you're defending Rockefeller books. You're defending the mainstream science and history. You might as well get your 5th booster by now if you're going to keep defending mainstream science.
We figured out that the Earth is a sphere in classical Greece at the latest. Shouting, duh, booster doesn't change that. But of course, you are eager to show what a gullible moron you are in absolutely every sphere of reality. I would remind you that you have no idea what vaccines are, but you flipped out about being quizzed on the definitions of words, so that probably wouldn't go so well.
There's a bunch of liars that lie to us about history, lie to us about the shape of the earth, where we live. They don't want you to know that you're created. This is a created place by our creator, God, whatever you want to call him. That's exactly what they don't want you to know.
Yeah, for the 1,000th time, even creationists who believe that their God made this planet super special along with everything on it still know the Earth is a sphere and that flat earthers are stupid. That you would have to get significantly smarter in order to still be as dumb as young Earth creationists is absolutely tragic.
No one's ever proven anything in modern day. Think about it that way. All you do is look back and say, thousands of years ago, there was a stick and a shadow, and shut the fuck up. What about today? It's 2025. What tests are these motherfuckers doing to prove a moving, spinning Earth? There's none.
Except for literally the entire body of science that is used on a minute-to-minute basis and which is allowing you to broadcast yourself on the internet right now. But it must be comfy underneath that rock with your eyes and ears shut, huh?
One of my requisites before even coming on there, I said, whoever this guy is, tell him to provide me with a working model of a ball that has water around it and sticks to all the way around as it spins.
Yeah, and I explained to you with crystal clarity how that's a dumb thing to say because of how gravity works. Then you just started saying the word gravity in a funny voice and soiling yourself, because that's all you have.
He said the globe doesn't have a model. They've got a toy that sits on a counter. You can't pour water on it, like you just said. You can't stick a cruise ship or a person to the bottom of it. You can't contain air on the outside of it. So it's not a model. It's a toy. But if we looked at the flat earth model and compared it to a bucket of a dinner of, bucket from Kentucky Fried Chicken with the mashed potatoes and the gravy and everything, the gravy lays level in there. It's contained. You can float a cruise ship on it. The plastic dome over the top, you can put air in there. It'll be contained. No one's going to fall off of it. You put a little boat in there or a person, and it's contained. A bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken is a better model for the Earth than the globe.
Wow, fried chicken. You want to throw in some watermelon and chitlins, racist? It's a cute analogy, but you're just a moron with no idea what a model is. With a spherical Earth, we can model what we see. Night and day, seasons, weather, absolutely everything about our reality. He's whining about a globe being a toy because he doesn't know what the word model means, and he's pretending that gravy on a plate proves the Earth is flat. Can we get dumber still?
I can make a model with this ashtray, pouring water into it and just putting some sort of covering over it. Like, it's that simple. And then use a flashlight to go around to show you how you have time zones and all this type of stuff.
No, you can't, or one of you morons would have done that by now. You absolutely can't take a flat surface and some magical covering and a flashlight and recreate the precise patterns of day and night that occur throughout the year, because it looks completely fucking idiotic, so you avoid it. I pointed this out all the way back in my response to the Globebusters. hours. On a sphere, the half facing the sun is day, the half facing away is night, and the half that is illuminated changes throughout the year as Earth progresses in its orbit. A child could understand this, and it can be demonstrated with a globe and source of light, or in an animation. You idiots can't do that on a flat Earth. You never have, and you never will. Get over it.
What do you think of the theory that the Earth is not flat, but that it seems that way because it's a lot bigger than they say? First of all, there is an equation for this. Okay, it's 8 inches for every square mile you should see visible curvature.
This dumbass can't even get his own script right. It's not per square mile, genius. A square mile is an area that is 1 mile by 1 mile. You know, like a fucking square. It's per mile squared, meaning you square the number of miles. Do you know what squaring a number means, little boy? We could then talk about how this equation describes a parabola, which is only an approximation to the surface of a sphere, but I'm pretty sure you can't even say the word parabola, so we aren't going to get too far.
So for 100 miles, there should be 6,000 feet of curvature that we do not see, sir.
We do see that curvature. That's why you can't see things that are 100 miles away, genius. This waste of space holds up his hand and mimes 0. So stand at sea level and take a picture of something else at sea level 100 miles away. When you can't do that because it's obscured by Earth's curvature, shut your dumb mouths forever.
And then you see Chicago skyline over Lake Michigan. I mean, you can just keep going and going and going and going. It's there because the Earth is flat. I don't.
Can you keep going and going and going, moron? Or can you see it just across the lake because of refraction and only the top halves of the buildings because the bottom halves are hidden behind the curvature? Want to take a picture of that skyline from anywhere further than the other side of the lake? No? Want to show me a picture where things at street level are visible? No? Gee, I wonder why.
This has been destroyed for many, many years now. They have nothing. All they can do is try to mock and get actors on to try to really get the audience on their side with words and little power moves and stuff like.
Yeah, all those power moves, like possessing a 3rd grade education and a fully functional brain. Real tough guy stuff, like knowing what words mean and using them properly. Good call, nutsacks.
Because we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. We're orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour, funny number. And we're chasing the sun at about 500,000 miles an hour, never to return to where we were before. 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return. None of the stars ever change.
Constellations for thousands of years.
We've been over this, morons. You don't feel motion at constant velocity. It doesn't matter how big the scary numbers get. You do not feel motion at constant velocity. Period. You feel acceleration only. If you're too dumb to understand that, it's nobody's problem but yours. Then the other clown says that the constellations have never changed for thousands of years. Are you sure about that, asshole? History says otherwise, in the form of ancient star charts that are totally different. Different North Star and everything. Oh, that's right. Anyone who knows anything about history or astronomy or anything else whatsoever is just a Rockefeller shill. Okay, losers, buy a telescope and chart the locations of the stars year after year. They absolutely do drift, just very slowly because they're really fucking far away. Can your tiny pea brains wrap your heads around the idea that the farther away something is, the less its apparent position will change due to relative motion? Was that too many big words for you?
These are all curved motions, right? And so I agree. If you're in an enclosed system and it's moving at whatever speed, you could claim that you wouldn't feel it. But as soon as it takes the slightest turn or changes acceleration, and that's what's happening. We're going around the sun in an ellipse. We're speeding up and slowing down. We're curving the whole time. Get a dinner plate. Go 100 miles an hour in the nicest car possible on the smoothest, straightest road. Fill the dinner plate with water, and then have that car speed up, slow down, or take the slightest turn. The water's gone.
Davey boy, did you learn nothing whatsoever from the single most humiliating moment for you in our debate? Why don't you get in a car and drive for 24 hours and over 24 hours veer by 1 degree? Are you going to feel that?
That would be equivalent to this. People say, "Oh, I'm just trying to think of the easiest way."
I'm just trying to think of something to say
Hey,
that
Dave,
will make
stop,
sense.
Stop being a dick.
How do you expect anything but mockery when you get dunked on this hard, are left literally speechless, and then just repeat the same dumb shit again? The Earth completes one orbit in a year. A year. That's what a fucking year is. How much do you turn the wheel of the Earth to produce this motion? 1 degree per day, remember? Get in the car with your bowl of water and veer by 1 degree over 24 hours. Is the water gonna spill, genius? Huh? Want to go ahead and calculate that acceleration vector for me? Want to give me a free body diagram? Oh no, more scary words you don't understand.
Now, your common sense, which God gave us, tells
That
us
looks like glass. That looks like a mirror.
We're not
and
moving.
it's a flat mirror, not a
But
curved
you're
mirror. It's
claiming that the land under it is moving, yet
Right.
the water is
Right.
perfectly still.
The land under it is moving and not the water. The whole planet moves together, you brainless twat. Forget learning science. These clowns whine about common sense and even botch that.
No, it
common
doesn't.
sense versus a guy with a pocket protector and a bunch of pads and pens and his white lab coat, who's a failed comedian telling you something else.
Oh.
Use your God-given common sense.
Pocket protector and pens. Lab coat? You don't need a lab coat to use your brains, kiddo. This lake looks flat to you because the amount of curvature over that short of a distance is completely negligible, and it isn't sloshing around as the Earth moves because it's an inertial reference frame. What would be making the water move as the Earth moves through space, idiots? Don't just say common sense. What? What would make the water move? Specifically, tell me the force that would cause that motion and calculate its magnitude and direction, or admit you can't do that because you're science illiterate and stupid.
I also want to say that, yay! Revenge of the Nerds! Like, all the fucking nerds is in my DM, and you're so stupid, with their pocket protectors, and, they feel like the nerds fucking won. Hey, we got the cool guy. We made the cool guy look stupid.
Jamar, you're a 56-year-old man pretending to be one of the cool kids in high school. This would be pathetic even if you were actually in high school, which you'll remember never happened since you dropped out of the 9th grade. You are not cool. You are a loser. Deal with it.
Real quick, Sidewalk Publishing said the only way to see all the planets aligned is on a flat Earth.
Absolutely.
Wow, what an insanely idiotic thing to say. First, nobody can see all of the planets at once during an alignment from a single vantage point. There are planets on either side of ours. But more importantly, they're pretending that there's a picture of all the planets in a line directly above our heads. That's not a thing that exists. I guarantee you that these morons couldn't point out a single planet in the night sky even using an iPhone app as a guide. So, someone left a dumb, meaningless comment. These jerks all just nodded their heads like they aren't stupid and moved on.
Let me prove to myself that NASA and the space agencies are real. So what I did was I went right to nasa.gov, and at first actually I went to nasa.com and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, it's .gov. Oh shit, I didn't even know at the time. I'm like, it's 2014. I'm like, this is a government entity. I'm like, oh shit, I totally forgot about that. They're government.
You probably don't want to brag about not knowing that NASA is a government agency, since literally everybody knows that.
Okay, but hold on. Let me go to nasa.gov and look around, look for some videos, and I'm looking for pictures, okay? Pictures. Like with a camera, snap a picture on NASA's website. They don't even have the word. It's all images, 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 images. I'm like, wait a minute.
Pictures are images, moron. Photographs are a kind of image. Seriously?
And then the images I'm looking at look like cartoons. Let's be real.
No, they don't. At all. Look at any image from any of the Apollo missions. These are film photographs. They objectively do not look like cartoons. Anyone who pretends that these look like cartoons is a worthless, reality-denying piece of shit. These were taken by cameras with film inside of them, and none of you assholes will ever even acknowledge their existence. Cry forever about it.
And then on top of that, it says like it's the author. It's like multiple people. Like how many fucking people to take to snap a picture? Well, it's a composite image. Number one. Number two, I went to the video section. They don't have many videos at the time. And I'm like, there's got to be a POV by now. This is 2014. I'm like, you know, in my mind, it was pretty modern day. And I'm like, there's got to be video of POV. They got cameras on the space station. They're just flying into space. No edits, no cuts, just going straight in there. I wanted to see space junk flying around. I wanted to see satellites orbiting. Them like getting out of the way of the satellites. Like, watch out, Bill. Oh, we're going to go. There's none.
Composites just means a bunch of them put together. If you take a bunch of photos with a camera and then staple them together, it doesn't make the photos fake. And for fuck's sake, a POV, there's a 24/7 live feed from the ISS. Geosynchronous satellites are taking images of the entire Earth every few seconds. GoPros are strapped to the side of every SpaceX rocket that broadcast from takeoff to landing. You think they had to dodge satellites every few seconds to get to orbit? Are you seriously that stupid? You dumb fucks ask for things, get shown every single one of those things countless times, and then call them fake no matter what you're shown because you're pathetic little toddlers.
So I'm like, wait a minute, they don't have any videos of this shit. Then I started looking at the ISS and I started seeing bubbles coming up and all this shit. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
No, you didn't see bubbles. You saw people on a space station orbiting a spherical Earth, doing all kinds of things that would be physically impossible if they weren't doing that, like water floating in little blobs, and of course the 24/7 live feed I already told you about that matches weather patterns in real time.
I can't find anything genuine that makes my heart and soul, and again, I went in this open-minded, guys. I'm like, nothing seems real. This is really weird.
No, you had a conclusion in mind, the one that makes you feel smart and special despite being one of the dumbest people alive. That's why you reject reality, in order to maintain this infantile delusion.
That none of these are photographs. So anyone saying, here's a picture of Earth from space. No, it's not. That's fake. That's an image. Why do they not have any real ones?
This. These aren't fake. You're fake. You are not human. You are a robot programmed by an evil genius sent to piss off intelligent people.
When you go out in space, I guess, and you look at the ball, there's going to be a top, motherfucker, and there's going to be a bottom. They're trying to act like wherever you at is down, and bro.
Pseudoscience.
Stop the fucking trick knowledge bullshit.
How is this guy this proud to be this fucking stupid? It really boggles the mind. How many times can someone be told that down is towards the center of the Earth and still talk like this? Jamar, since I know you're watching because you're too much of a narcissistic loser to stay away, you're talking about a spherical Earth in space. You're labeling the North Pole the top of this sphere. So what the fuck is pulling things down, you dumb piece of shit? What's here under this sphere that is magically pulling things in this specific direction off of this planet into the dark emptiness of space? I want you to sit down, shut the fuck up, and think really hard about what I'm asking you. Picture the spherical Earth in space. You think that things should be falling off of this in this direction. Why? Is there a magical people magnet? Is there a super cool tractor beam? Wait, I know. Is it the fucking ground? Is it the ground that's below your feet right now that you're imagining under this planet in space because you're a fucking idiot? Are you imagining things falling to the ground beneath you, thereby reinforcing what I'm telling you, that down is towards the ground, so anyone, anywhere on this planet experiences down as being towards the center of the Earth? If you still don't get it, congratulations, you are the single dumbest person in human history.
And there's a North Pole, meaning a top, and a South Pole, a bottom. Y'all literally call Australia down under, but now all of a sudden there's no bottom. This is what you're telling me? Like, but I'm the dumb one. I'm the one that's so ridiculous, and I look so stupid.
Yes, you're the dumb one. You win dumbest person of the year, possibly of the decade. Keep it up and go for the century.
The diameter of the Earth is just under 8,000 miles. But here's something we can measure. We can drive across Mexico and Baja, and we can find out this is 934 miles right here. So that's 934 miles right here. And so I should be able to fit 8.5 of these in between these two lines. Right?
I take it back. Weiss is giving Jamar a run for his money. Hey, moron, you're comparing a distance along the surface of a sphere to the diameter of that sphere. The diameter runs through the sphere, not along its surface, you inconceivably dense imbecile. Moving along the surface would trace a circumference, which is more than 3 times longer than the diameter. More specifically, it's pi times longer, but we won't get into that since he'll just be imagining a pie instead of learning middle school math. Also, I love how he thinks that you can just drive across the Gulf of California.
Now, Jamar, you wonder why when there's debates about the globe Earth and the flat Earth, no globe Earth person will ever start with what they should start with are pictures from space. They'll never pull out, look at this.
Because you worthless cretins just shout fake and run away, so it doesn't go anywhere. That's why we don't bother. And also because we can prove the Earth is a sphere 100 other ways, just like we did thousands of years ago. You're pathetic.
How about just do a live stream with the rocket looking back at Earth? Give me an uncut shit where we're going back in space. We look back, and now we could see the shit spinning. We see the buildings upside down and sideways and all that crazy shit that y'all are claiming could happen on a ball. We're seeing the water stick. Just show us that. And everybody will go home and apologize. But you motherfuckers will never show that.
Are you fucking deaf? Any SpaceX launch. Go watch, dumbass. And for the 100th time, the Earth spins once per day. How much of a spin do you want to see, genius? And what sideways buildings? Down is towards the center of the Earth. Everything you say is so insanely stupid that anyone debunking you just ends up repeating themselves over and over again.
We can prove that the sun and the moon are here in our atmosphere with us just based on corpuscular rays.
Hey, remember when I shat all over you on this topic in person and told you that railroad tracks appear to converge even though they don't, and you just muttered to yourself and changed the subject? That was funny.
Why would the moon only be glowing on 4 clouds underneath it when the rest of the sky is in blackness? If that moon was hundreds of thousands of miles away, shining on a little BB Earth, the whole fucking sky would be evenly lit or evenly dim. But no, you get a little, because the fucking thing is right. It's right there.
Jesus Christ. Does this moron not know that planes exist? If the moon is right above the clouds, then go touch it, you dumb piece of shit. No, it's impossible that you're a moron that doesn't know how light works. The moon must be just above the clouds. Not even cavemen were this stupid.
And also, if you show the sun or the moon over water, it will make a sliver down onto the water, showing that it has to be a disc and not a sphere, as you guys think it is. Those are discs. And back in the days, they used to call it the sun disk.
Holy fuck, it gets even dumber. The sun is a disc now? Even idiot flat earth priests pretend it's a sphere doing little donuts over the pizza land. Jamar wants to contradict them and say it's a disc? Okay, jackass, you're looking at a lake and the disc sun is right over that lake making the nice little effect you're talking about. Now how about someone standing over here looking at the sun? What do they see, dumbass? The side of the disc? No, they see the exact same thing you do because it's neither local nor a disc. I already did this with the moon. Go watch that video, moron.
Now we can measure the moonlight and it's cold. It's the opposite of sunlight. You magnify moonlight, it gets colder. Weird, right?
No, not right. Very, very not right. Moonlight is not the opposite of sunlight. It's literally sunlight. And it sure as fuck does not make anything colder. You just have no clue what light and heat are. Light can't magically make things colder. It interacts with atoms and brings them to excited translational, vibrational, and rotational states, which can be transferred to other particles by friction. Light can only raise the kinetic energy of the particles in a system. It can't magically reduce their kinetic energy.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and it's crazy, but a lot of these guys, they really love balls.
Yeah, well,
they love these balls.
They believe in Santa still.
They're like, look, Saturn is a ball. Mars is a ball. Like, no, it's not. They just showed you balls.
It wouldn't be a Lord Jamar video without some blatant homophobia. Go mock some NBA or NFL players for loving balls so much and see what happens, little boy.
Board of Education started in 1920, which is why most people, if they're still alive today, past 100 years old, they will admit that they were taught the earth is flat in school. This is newer than you think.
No, that's a dumb lie that Weiss tells and that you're repeating because you heard him say it. Nobody was ever taught that the earth is flat in any legitimate center of education in all of modern history. If it were true, you could provide any evidence of it whatsoever, but you don't because you can't, because it's a lie.
These Freemasons have created stories about thousands of years ago. Other Freemasons knew that the earth was a ball. No, that's a story. You can decide to believe or not believe it.
No, it's not a story, it's reality. There are globes going back at least as far as the 15th century which still exist that you can see and touch, and plenty of writings from Ptolemy and everyone else that use the spherical geocentric Ptolemaic model, which dominated astronomy from Hellenistic Greece until heliocentrism was developed. You're the little crybabies hiding under the covers and telling stories. Deal with it.
You know what they say the vacuum of space is?
Define vacuum.
Yeah. It's supposed to be nothingness, right?
Yeah.
Well, then how is there anything in space?
Yeah, in deep space, far away from stars and planets, there's almost no matter. Also, stars and planets exist. What the fuck are you not understanding, moron? And to the chuckle fuck laughing at how I asked Jamar to define what a vacuum is, none of you asshats know, even after I told you.
And did you know that a vacuum, conveniently, a true vacuum of space cannot be recreated here on Earth? Oh, so we just gotta trust you guys, huh?
We can create a vacuum that's 10 to the minus 15 torr. That's pretty damn close, Haas. Even space is not a perfect vacuum, so I don't know what the fuck you're whining about. Why don't we put you clowns inside one of those vacuum chambers so you can do some experiments? Maybe take a look at whether things still fall down to the ground in a vacuum, even though that ruins your whole density buoyancy bullshit. Don't forget to hold your breath, assholes.
So when we talk about the thermosphere, is this many, it's so hot and we're thinking it should melt metals? No. Because in a vacuum of space, conveniently, the molecules are, there's not enough stuff there to make things hot. So it's not like how you think of heat or temperature on Earth. See, bro.
Sweet mother of mercy, this numbskull is literally asking a dumb question and then sarcastically reciting the simple answer he found online as though that's an argument. This is what happens when you don't know what heat and temperature are, you fucking tool. Again, heat is a transfer of kinetic energy. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in a system. If particles are very, very hot, but there are very, very few of them, they can't transfer that much heat. That's why opening an oven full of air that's 450 degrees doesn't melt your face off, while sticking your hand in a pot of water boiling at 212 would be a lot worse. That's why the thermosphere doesn't do anything to rockets. Do you get it? I'm just kidding. I know you don't.
Why they're hiding this? They're hiding technology. They're hiding more land. They're hiding free energy. They're hiding the creator. They're hiding your spirituality. They're hiding more resources, scientific knowledge, what's in Antarctica.
Oh, they're hiding stuff in Antarctica? Too bad your little coward bitch ass didn't take the free trip to look for yourself, huh?
At least do the study before you start laughing and doing all and feeling so condescending as if, you made yourself look so stupid, Lord Jamar. You don't even know about weight and man.
Wow, this guy is losing his mind. You can tell how hard he's taking this public shaming and how desperate he is to redeem himself, which will never happen. Yeah, you don't know what weight is, even though I told you. A normal person would take a step back and try to learn something before speaking up again, but we know that's not going to happen with you. And with that, I'm tapping out. How they managed to pack this much stupidity into 45 minutes is beyond me, and I refuse to watch the next 2 hours to see how much more of it they can muster. I intended to make it through to the end, but I just can't do it. It is genuinely depressing to do this to myself, and this video was only going to be unsubstantive clickbait anyway. Nothing useful can be achieved by burying either of these morons even deeper into the sand than I already have. For those of you who are getting a little tired of this stuff, I promise I have some much more socially relevant debunk content coming soon. More poignant, more deserving targets. 2025 is going to be full of them. But I wrote as much on this as I did, so this is what you got today. I'll see you next time.